I am a classic example of a guy like who didn't understood about the strategic importance of taking a GMAT exam,
Mhm.
and tried to figure out a strategy myself, and got fooled out by many GMAT tutors around the globe. I had paid 1 lakh for 10 sessions. Actually, he was an
Okay, okay,
American tutor, so I had paid for a personalized GMAT coaching,
okay,
where
okay.
a resident tutor, he was based out in Dubai itself. So I
Mhm.
used to have a face-to-face session with him. So
Right.
I had to pay 1 lakh for 10 sessions. In my 595 attempt, if you see my percentile in data sufficiency, is only 10 percentile
Oh,
in my 595 attempt. And in my 715 attempt, I got 100 percentile. All data sufficiency questions were correct.
so everyone, one of the most inspiring stories of my Focus Edition teaching career, and in fact, one of the most inspiring ever, is that of Abel. And I can't imagine someone really having gone through so much. I have not even once spoken to him or texted him. This is the first time I'll start talking. But this is just crazy. The way this is that somebody after 6 attempts, after 2 years, and after so much money and time spent, this is the time and money spent, after so much frustration, obviously, is first of all so ambitious that he still wants to write it the second, seventh time. Just for the ambition, we really have to clap for him. Honestly, this is how I looked at it. And when he joined on 28th of February, his message was that let me get 645 first. That means the aim itself was 645, 655, something like this. This would have been sufficient also for the college he might have been aiming for. I do not know. And then 50 days of maximum study, and he ends up getting so much more than what he had anticipated. He gets 70 more marks than his desire also. So this is just crazy in 50 days. And look at this. And previous, it's not precious, it's previous, was only 595 in 6 attempts. It is just, even when you listen to him, it must be one of the most inspiring stories for you also, that things can change if you have the right guidance, the right material, the right test series, and right everything. So this, then let's see something else also. I mean, when I read this, my heart sank, honestly. Thousands of dollars. And what my colleague told me, and that he had paid almost 1 lakh rupees for one session to some instructor. I'll just talk to him anyway. But this is just crazy. I mean, 2 years and 50 days. We are talking about 24 months, let's, or we are talking about 20 months, let's, versus 50 days, which is not even 2 months. So this is a definitive change, and I'm very happy when we are able to make that change. This is a score report of 715, and I'll just ask him whether it is absolutely true or not, but this was shared in our group. I spent a crazy amount of money to prep before joining top. He paid some personal tutor for one session, 1 lakh rupees also. So Abel, I will pin you, and hey, hi, I can see you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you, Sandeep.
So, first of all, what kind of a story is this, and how do you stay so motivated that you wanted to write the seventh attempt? I mean, kudos and all my salute to you that you had the spirit to go, because I do not know how many people will have the fight left in them to go for the seventh attempt, even. So, please describe your journey to me. Yeah.
Sandeep, first of all, thank you for the invite. I am a classic example of a guy like who didn't understood about the strategic importance of taking a GMAT exam,
Hmm.
and tried to figure out a strategy myself, and got fooled out by many GMAT tutors around the globe, spending a lot of money working with many people on different strategies, and finally understood the importance of having a right partner to help you out this journey, and to believe in him and in this strategy method, and put your hard work and get the best score.
Right, right.
So my journey again started in 22 mid, and 6 months I tried to do it myself. I put around 300 hours. I covered the whole study material,
Hmm.
and I took few courses in Udemy for verbal, but all those things, if I recollect now, were very basics. Like in verbal, they taught me about the subject verb agreement and all those basic
Hmm.
things to crack
Right.
a 600 level question. But finally, because of no strategy approach method. After 6 months, I could get a score of 600 in my first attempt. Then again, I tried, but what Richard said is right. Actually, I tried. I looped in American company, which is I don't know to name them, which is a pretty popular GMAT coach in the world, and I had paid 1 lakh for 10 sessions. Actually, he was an
Okay, okay,
American tutor, so I had paid for a personalized GMAT coaching
okay,
where
okay.
a resident tutor, he was based out in Dubai itself. So I
Hmm.
used to have a face-to-face session with him. So
Right.
I had to pay 1 lakh for 10 sessions.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
But Sandeep, that made me one thing to understand first, because a non-native speaker and working with a native American, like, it
Hmm.
never works. Like, he never understands our problem. So the
Hmm.
problem was the whole 10 hours was a waste. In fact, my
Hmm.
RC and CR score actually went down after working with
Oh.
them,
Hmm.
after taking almost again spending another 6 months with
Hmm.
them, after taking 10 sessions. Again, they gave me a portal, materials, etc. Nothing improved. In fact, my 600 became 610. I just got
Okay.
1 point improvement in verbal. 24 became 25 because of my SC improved. Because SC
Hmm.
again was rule based, so I learned much more rules in the second attempt. I learned about
Hmm.
subjunctive
Hmm.
modifiers, which were much tougher concepts.
Hmm.
My SC improved, but RC and CR declined
Hmm.
because all the methods which they taught me was completely different. In fact, when I joined Top, I took like first 2 3 months. Like, actually, I enrolled with Top in the for the classic version
Hmm.
in 2023
Hmm.
Q4.
Hmm.
Then what happened was, after I enrolled with Top, I had to completely do the unlearning. Actually,
Hmm.
that took another 3 4 months time, because the strategy which they told me was completely different, and that was never something
Hmm.
which anybody can put on for a 760 or a
Hmm.
99% score. Then I believe like meeting you was very accidental, like coming through a LinkedIn post of yours, and that changed the course of my life, in fact. Because I never thought like I would ever crack like 760 after I saw that 600 score
Hmm.
in my first attempt. So working with Top actually changed everything, the strategy, the methods. In fact, I was, to be frank, and I should apologize for that, the first few months I was very skeptical about adopting to Top ka strategy again, because
Hmm.
working with so many partners. Because even after that American
Right, right.
coach, I again enrolled for another online GMAT
Hmm.
thing. And one thing I should say, that all these companies were pitching for giving me a customized plan. Like, the
Hmm.
first thing they used to ask me was, which is your target school. So if I tell
Hmm.
a target school, say for about, I say INSEAD, they say that, okay, see, INSEAD you need 710. So they used to completely give me a plan for a 710, which was the biggest mistake
Hmm.
I succumbed to. Because if your target is 710, then automatically you'll be ending up with the 670 or 660.
Right,
And
right.
the one reason Top caught my eye was that Top was not giving any customized plan for anybody. It was like, you come, you take a 760 and leave. Like, you should never come for a 650 or 700, or there's no customized
Hmm.
plan for everybody. It was a 760 plan for everybody, even if you want to go for an IIM or an INSEAD or Harvard,
Hmm.
anything. So that was really interesting. And though I was skeptical initially, again I gave one attempt where I got
Hmm.
595 in
Hmm.
after because after taking classic edition again, I couldn't give an attempt. I prepared, in fact, for
Hmm.
some time, but because of those 5 attempts in a calendar year,
Hmm.
I could do my sixth attempt after Jan. So
Hmm.
so my
You
option
had
for
to
a
go
classic
for
edition was
focus
over.
edition only. Yeah.
Correct. So I had to again switch to focus, and again I had to do some unlearning and learning, and focus approach was different. But again, I should salute Top and the content. It was like, in fact, in fact, the price, when Richard told me, I was surprised. Like, with this price, what am I going to get? Is it only for the classes, or is it only for some materials? But I was really surprised with the kind of content you gave and the classes you have done. So what to say, extraordinary, exceptional. Then slowly I started preparing with it, and the biggest improvements were in RC and CR.
Hmm.
And as I told, like, I gave one attempt where I scored 595. That was again because of my this skeptical attitude, wherein I didn't adopt all the strategies which you taught me. Which was, one thing was error log.
Mhm.
So one important thing when you switch from classic to focus is about careless mistakes, because you can't afford many mistakes in focus edition.
Right, right.
Like in classic you had a leverage to do, maybe you can make like 3 to 5 mistakes in quant, you can easily go up to 10 mistakes in verbal, still you can manage a 700 plus.
Mhm.
But in focus, especially in quant, one mistake may bring your score down by 3 points. Like if you
Right,
make
right.
like 4
Yes.
mistakes, you are at 80 or 82.
Right.
So that was a big price to pay, and careless mistakes to tackle it, error log is very important. So one few of the strategies which I adopted after my last attempt, where I got 595 to the 715, is that one was error log. And the second thing was go with the toughest questions possible and do all practice in the test environment. So I consistently did this for 50 days.
Mhm.
So right from the day I met Richa last time, where
Mhm.
I called her up to ask her what are my next options. Like I'm going to stop this. I'm already done with it. I just have fine 95. What should I do? Actually, she literally threw me out. It was that conversation again gave me energy to come and do my seventh attempt. Actually, what she told was like, 595 is nothing. Like if you are this ambitious, if you want to
Mhm.
go for a top school, see, nothing less than minimum 655 will help you. So
Right.
at least you should work for that. And then again, I took some energy, and a few things I changed was keep an error log and try the mock portal of top. So I tried it so extensively. I did
Mhm.
all the sectional mocks, and in between, before my 595 attempt, I had completely cemented my RC and CR. Like
Mhm.
initially, I just had an idea about octave and all those
Mhm.
CR techniques, but then I cemented them through those long hours sessions. This
Right, right.
RC, long sitting, and CR, that was exceptional.
Mhm.
In fact, more than the content you gave me in PDFs, the mock portal was really superb. It
Right,
was outstanding, and those helped me actually gain my confidence, gain my pacing, and in fact, my exam was so super easy. And I knew that, because I knew that if I could tackle a top mock test, then GMAT is going to be super easy for me. So
right.
I didn't have to look at the clock for my first 10 questions in all the sections.
Oh,
For the
wow.
first 10, 15 questions, I didn't had to. And actually, my score, if you analyze my score reports, actually, I got a very pretty good score compared to my accuracy, because I still made 12 mistakes. But
Mhm.
all my mistakes were towards the later section.
Right,
So
right.
all in quant, my first 15, I think first 18 questions were correct. In verbal, my first 10, 12 questions were correct. And in data sufficiency, my first question was wrong, and the next 13 questions were correct.
Right, right.
So
So it
that
makes a huge difference
accuracy,
if your initial questions are correct. Yeah, yeah.
correct. So that pacing and that confidence I got from the top mocks, because because earlier in my initial attempts I was anxious. I used to look at the clock after every question. All these things, I had this doubt about every question. Mostly in CR, I used to end up with two answers, and I used to take an one extra minute to finalize one answer out of them.
Mhm.
So all these things changed when I did that long sitting and spending time in top mock portal. So
Right.
that's about me, Sandeep. It was thank you for giving such a picture about me to the students in the class. But it was
No,
when
no,
I look back.
I did not mean to give a negative image or something. It was just to tell that when you don't, I mean, as someone who's sharp and intelligent also, without the right strategy and material and the guidance, can totally get derailed to such an extent. I mean, it's not that you don't have intelligence. I mean, you can crack it easily if you had this in the beginning itself. Probably so much, let's say, going through so much stuff would not have really happened, maybe. I do not know obviously what would have happened, but still. So it's really that, imagine this person. First of all, I salute your persistence and really wanting business school. When you must be doing well in your career, but despite that, seventh attempt is just an extraordinary thing. Okay, this is something. And then I'm very glad that we were able to help you with the right approach. Although it's not that everything is only personal interaction, because this is the first time we are even coming face to face with each other. That means the content itself was good
Correct,
enough for you.
correct.
Also, tell me one thing I wanted to ask particularly. Uh, At 595, you can't only be poor at verbal. So was it quant also that you did not do so well in? And DI, anyways, a new thing. So just tell about these two also in detail and the exam experience you had. Yeah. The
Sandeep, actually,
715 exam experience. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so 595, actually 595, 595 was actually an underscore. I could have done more actually.
Hmm.
So when I started focus, actually I was doing pretty well, and I was in fact expecting a 645, 655 range when I did
Hmm.
that, actually that 595 attempt. But what went wrong in that attempt was a careless mistakes which I did.
Hmm.
Another thing was, see, I had taken a separate. I did this official mock. So
Right.
initially, the top mock was really tough actually. So I did the
Hmm.
first top mock and I got a 565,
Hmm.
and I thought like I'll do a official mock as well. Then I
Hmm.
did an official mock, and official mock was super easy because when you come from that background of solving all the top questions,
Hmm.
I meant like the top mock portal and sectional test, and suddenly
Hmm.
when you switch to official mocks, official mocks are super easy for you,
Right. Right.
because top that program of a sectional test itself is so hard. Like if you solve all the questions in a top verbal and top quant, you can easily solve in official mock with mostly 2 to 3 minutes to spare.
Hmm.
So when I came to official mock, I got a 695. So
Hmm.
I decided myself that okay, now I'll continue with the official mocks, because official mocks are much more giving me confidence and all those things. And that was a
Oh.
mistake.
Hmm.
So which I corrected in my 715 attempt. So in my 715 attempt, I didn't refer to anything other than the top mocks. I was solving only those questions, and I made sure that I used to solve everything in that 45 minutes bucket. Even though I couldn't I couldn't spare time for a full mock test, I used to ensure that I do at least a full sectional test.
Hmm. And how
So
was, yeah, yeah. Sorry about, please go ahead.
so that 595 was because then I repeatedly taking this official mocks. Maybe it can be psychological. My what to say, that initial, that pull which you have when you start a test, that
Hmm.
slowly started receding, because
Hmm.
I myself got programmed for much easy questions.
Hmm.
Like I came to a mentality where even if I slog in first initial few questions, I can catch up in the last, because official mocks are pretty easy, especially
Hmm.
data insight sections are super easy, where the
Hmm.
questions are very straight. So even if you, and data sufficiency, DI initially you may take more time because of MSR comes in the first 10 questions,
Hmm.
and you will get a false confidence that you can catch up in the later time.
Hmm.
So this false confidence actually affected me in my
Hmm.
595 session, where I didn't get time.
Right. Right. Right.
Verbal, I had to guess like last six questions.
Hmm.
Quant, similarly, I almost finished it. DI, similarly, I made a lot of careless mistakes. I finished
Hmm.
it faster, but I made a lot of careless mistakes. These things I corrected in my 715 attempt.
So you're saying that you did a lot of DI practice also from the portal because that is a new section for people. It would not have been there in your first five attempts or something. I mean, integrated reasoning is okay, but nobody bothered earlier about it. But did was this difficult time management wise, the DI part initially from the portal?
Seriously, yeah. DI part was very difficult, and in fact, DI was a section where I spent my most time. As you said, like through my initial attempts, I was pretty comfortable with Quant, and Quant in Focus Edition didn't had geometry, which was again better for me because I was pretty good in arithmetics and other things. Verbal, again, RC and CR, I could really enhance my performance with the RC long sittings, which I
Mm-hmm.
did. And by the time I was finishing classic itself, I became pretty good at RC and CR,
Mm-hmm.
because this octave technique made a big impact in the
Mm-hmm.
approach. Because
Right.
that was one thing which I was lacking in my initial attempts.
Mm-hmm.
Coming to DI, you are absolutely right. DI without top, I don't think you can ever crack it, because the official materials and other things which you get for DI and other places are super easy. And
Yeah.
data sufficiency is not the data sufficiency which we were facing in classic edition. Data
Mm-hmm.
sufficiency is a bit tricky, though the
Mm.
questions find very easy. Then there are
But
many chances for you to go wrong.
because of the traps that you would have learned here as well, lots of them actually.
Exactly. Exactly. So my data sufficiency and DI, I completely did that topic wise. So there is a section called topic wise
Mm-hmm.
sectional test in top mock portal where you have 80 questions in DI. I did that repeatedly. So what I used to do was every 2 3 weeks gap. I think I did twice or thrice, and I did the DS 436 questions fully.
Oh, okay, okay. That's great. That's great to hear.
So that cemented. So in fact, in my 595 attempt, if you see my percentile in data sufficiency is only 10 percentile
Oh,
in my 595 attempt. And in my 715 attempt, I got 100 percentile. All data sufficiency questions were correct.
mm-hmm.
And again, in my 595 attempt, my MSR was all three wrong. And again, I got all three correct in my 715 attempt. So that made a big change in my DS score, actually, my DDS score itself.
Okay, just talking about your actual exam, did you find anything unusual and what was your section order? Just tell us these two things.
I took verbal, quant, and DI,
Mm-hmm.
and exam was very easy. In fact, that was one advantage when I got when coming from that top because if you consistently follow this top mock test, your mind will be programmed to face all tough questions. So what
Right.
happens is I was expecting much tougher questions for the exam. So what happened? Of course, I had that anxiety because I'm coming for the seventh attempt and I have only one
Mm-hmm.
attempt left. All those things are there, but still, when you first 2 3 questions, it was so easy that we get very used to it, and that's what I told you. Like the first 10 questions itself,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to even look at the clock. So that
Right.
mocks of top will give you that kind of a what to say an attitude where you are willing to do any tough questions from question one itself. But
Right.
fortunately, GMAT is much more easier than top, so that helped me actually in the actual test.
So you will not say anything was totally out of the ordinary or unusual on the exam, right?
Nothing. In fact, in quant, every question was simple. Every question was simple. I'm comparing it with the standard I used to practice in with the top mock.
Mm,
So there was no question out of park. Everything was easy, and I think I made two mistakes in quant. Can be of careless errors because
mhm,
I didn't find any question that tough.
mm,
Coming to verbal, again, verbal towards the end after my 10th question, I got an RC passage which was almost as tough as the RC passages which you have in our
mhm,
which we have in mock portal of top, which is this LSET passage,
mhm,
because it was very lengthy. It was very to read it in the first instance itself took me 2 to 3 minutes, or I think more than 3 4 minutes to understand it. And but then I believed that enhanced my confidence in fact, because I knew that okay, when you see a tougher passage, then you are at a 700 plus level.
mhm,
Because you are seeing a tough passage,
mhm.
which a kind of one which you are getting in the mock portal.
Right, right.
Apart from that, nothing was tough. Even DI was easy. There
Mhm.
was no out of park question which actually stumbled me in the exam.
Right. I'm so happy to know your journey, and I really wish the business school that you've been after this round that you're applying for January, I guess, January intake. That was the plan, right? You are looking for January
Yeah,
intake now.
yeah, Sandeep.
I
Yeah,
mean, it
yeah,
should come through. You're still in April and January intake.
yeah.
There are 5 rounds or 4 rounds sometimes to the schools you're trying to apply to. I'm super happy and so happy with the success that you've had. In fact, you can negotiate really good scholarships also this time with the score you've had. So amazing. And I hope the awareness videos also helped you in enhancing your ability to understand fast these passages, etc. Awareness and know the world videos. I do not know how much of it you could do, but did you go through some of the stuff there? Please tell.
Actually, see, Sandeep, at the end, I wanted to tell you this. See, the contribution you have done to me in my GMAT would be maybe 50%. The rest 50% is your KTW video. So I've seen all your awareness videos.
Hmm.
I finished your KTW ninth video, and then I got immersed myself completely into GMAT. So
Right.
now, after my exam, I started it again. So I again finished one session. So see,
Hmm.
the contribution you do to any candidate you have, I think it's not just with success in GMAT. It's with life, the vision which you have to
Mm.
have, etc., which any other candidate also would have experienced, who would have started watching the KTW videos.
Right.
So
Super.
thank you for doing such an exceptional service to the society, in fact, Sandeep, because it's I know, being a Harvard dropout, or coming from such a great academic background, you could have had like n number of options to be in the corporate or anything else, but living to enhance somebody else's knowledge and life is like truly exceptional.
Right. Thank you so much. And I hope to connect with you sometime personally as well. Right. And keep in touch and all the very best
Sure.
for your applications. Connect with our counselor if you want to. He can also be of great help or three. And yeah, let's just
Sure,
keep in
Sandeep.
touch and
Sure,
all the
sure.
very best. Thank you for making time today. Right.
Sure, Sandeep. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for calling me. Thank you. And thanks for the very, very nice words. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.